Let's do some practice with functions. So in this example, I'd like you to write a function called average, AVG, or just average the word, which accepts an array of numbers. And you can assume it's all numbers. You don't have to check to see if each thing is a number. So it accepts an array of numbers, and it should return the average value of all those numbers. So in a simple case like 0 and 50, it should return 25. But it should work for an array of any length, 100 numbers, 20 numbers, 2 numbers, return the average. Okay, so give it a shot. There's many ways of doing this. Including some functions and some helpers we haven't covered yet that would make this even easier. But we're just going to start with a good old-fashioned loop and division. So let's define our function AVG, and let's give the parameter a name of array, ARR, so R. You could also call it nums, values. And our main approach here is going to be loop over each num, add them together, divide by number of nums, divide by the length of the array. So we need a place where we can tally or sum all of the values. We need a variable. So I'm going to make a variable called total, and I'll start it at 0. Then we're going to loop over each num. We could do a for loop. I like for of, so for let num, I'll call it num, or x, or value of the array. We want to take that num and add it into total. So total plus equals num. So we start with 0 and 50. Total starts at 0. Num is 0 the first time. We add 0 to 0. Then num is now 50. So we're going to add 50 to total. Total is now 50. And we've hit the end. So we're not done, because right now we would be returning the entire sum. If we returned total, what we need to do instead is return the total divided by the number of elements in the array. So we can do this. We can make a variable, let result equal total divided by array.length, and then return result, or res. Let's see if it works. Average of 0 and 50 is 25, 85.2 for this array of test scores. We could also just return this line without a variable. It's clear enough. We're just taking the total, dividing by the length of the array, and that's it. We start with a total of 0. We loop over each element. We add that into the total. So we end up with this sum, and then we return that sum divided by the number of elements. Like I said, there's many ways of doing this. You could have used a for loop, a regular for loop instead. If you know about things like for each, which we haven't covered, you could have used that. But the main idea is you sum things together using a loop and then divide.